Okay, I wanted to share my near-death experience, or what I believe was a near-death experience. I have not shared this with anybody but my husband, and it took me a long time to share it with him. I have no idea why. I don't like telling people things like this because I don't want nobody to think I'm crazy. Even though it's my husband, he know I'm not crazy, but I don't know. And he's never really had like those different spiritual encounters like I have. So I just didn't want to share. I didn't share it with anybody. I shared it with my husband and kind of briefly with my older sister, not going into detail, but and so y'all had caught the CVID. I caught the CVID, and my whole family caught it. But when I say my whole family, at that time, my younger sister was living with me. She's in her she was in her late 20s at the time, and she had a newborn. He didn't catch it, and the teenager that y'all seen that's usually sitting in the back seat, she liked to be chauffeured around, but she didn't catch it. Thank God. Like those immune systems are real, you know. So but me, all the adults of the house caught it, and I caught it the worst. I had that and pneumonia. And so when I caught it, the first time I knew something was off was I was cooking one day. I was cooking. And when I was cooking, I felt my breath leave me. I felt like and it was like, where's the breath? Where's the breath? It's almost like I felt like I was drowning. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hello?
Hey.
Tell him I'm recording the video. I'm on my way back.
Okay.
He don't need to come up here. He don't need to come up here, Tom. Just wait. All right, I'm about to hang up because I'm on the video.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, I want to record this video. So anyway, and so yeah, I was cooking and it felt like my breath left me, and it almost felt like if you were drowning. That's what it felt like, and it's like, where's the inhale? Where's the inhale? I felt the exhale, but where's the inhale? And so I felt that for like a few seconds, and the seconds felt like minutes. And then finally it came back, and I was like, and I was back to myself. So that was the first time, and I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, well, maybe I'm tired. I was not thinking. And so then I'm taking a shower. This is like a couple of days later. I'm taking a shower. The same thing happened in the shower. And I take hot showers. And I felt it again, just and nothing came back. I'm like, where's the inhale? Where's the inhale? I'm panicking. And then it came back. It took a few seconds. And then it came back. And so I'm in the shower. I'm like, what is going on? Like, what's going on? And so finally, later on that day, my younger sister was like, I think I have. She was like, I don't know. I feel sick. Now, she didn't feel the breathing like I did. She just felt like sick. But she said, I feel like really sick. And so she went to get the COVID test. She had COVID. Husband took the COVID test. He had COVID. I took the COVID test. I'm saying the CVID. I don't know if we can say it in here. We all had it. I had it. Okay, I had it. And so it probably don't even matter. I'm not even monetized. But I had it. And so when I had it, y'all, I had it, but I had it the worst. So my breathing was getting worse. Everything was just getting worse. I went down pretty fast. And I got so bad to the point, y'all, I couldn't walk. I couldn't use the bathroom. I couldn't feed myself. I couldn't do, because every movement I made, I literally couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't sit up on my own. I was in a wheel. I kept my mom's, I don't know why I kept it. Thank God I did. But I kept her old wheelchair. And thank God I had it because I had to use it. I had to be in it. I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything. My husband had to bathe me. He had to help me use the bathroom. It was so embarrassing because I'm used to being the caregiver of people. You know, I told you I did home health. I worked in a hospital. I'm used to taking care of people. I'm not used to nobody taking care of me like that. But I was pretty much bedridden. I couldn't do anything. It was like I was paralyzed. I literally couldn't do anything. My husband had to sit me up, turn me to the side of the bed, put his arm around me to lift me up, to put me in a chair, because every movement I made, I could not breathe. I felt like I was dying. And then when my husband, when he would be going through the day, and like when my family would be out like running errands, all I could do was lay on my back and look at the ceiling. And so what I used to do, I used to just play Try not to get emotional. I used to play gospel music. That's all I would listen to. I would just lay there and look at the ceiling. And it's so weird when you're sick like that, when you're helpless like that, you really become really, really close with God, because I had so much peace, even though I was sick. I had so much peace. I would just lay there and I couldn't sing, and I would listen to music. And so I remember my sister called me, my sisters on my dad's side called me. They were like, "You don't have to talk." They were like, we know you can't talk. Just, I couldn't say anything because everything I say, I would lose my breath. And they would just call and sit on the phone and they would just pray. They would just pray. They would just pray. And so I would just lay there and listen to it, and they would say, "I love you." And I couldn't even say, "I love you," man. I couldn't even say, "I love you." But, let me stop. Hold on, y'all. I'm coming back. I'm bringing back memories. But anyway, so yeah, I couldn't talk. I couldn't do anything. I could just say like short words to my husband so he would know. Like I was able to say like bathroom. I didn't eat anything. Only thing my husband tried to force me to eat, but I couldn't. I only ate grapes. Which I found was a good detox. And I also found out that when you're usually sick, you usually crave certain things that's going to help you. All I could eat was grapes. And I really didn't want to eat that, but there's the only thing I felt like I could stomach. And so for a day, I had lost a lot of weight during that time. I was not eating anything. And I had that when I kept taking the CVID test, I had that virus for 4 weeks. It would never get out of my system, but I had it with the pneumonia. And so getting to the NDE story, the near death experience story. So my husband kept trying to tell me, "Brittany, you need to go to the hospital. Like, you are out of the," but I have such a distrust. Y'all know from my prior videos, I have a distrust for healthcare, and I'm looking at the stuff online and I'm like, "Oh, is ventilators killing people?" I'm looking at all this, and oh my God. Come on. Just told you I was coming. You came to the car. I said I'm recording. Recording now? Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is. Anyway, so get into to record. Why you come? I'm almost finished. Okay. And my husband was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" So anyway, so yeah, getting close to the NDE space, my husband kept saying, "You need to go to the hospital. You need to go to the hospital. Like your health is going down." And I was getting worse day by day, day by day. I couldn't do anything, y'all. I couldn't use the bathroom. I can use the bathroom. And I was, oh my God, I was really, really sick. And I was like that for weeks, like at least 3 weeks of just not walking. And y'all, so everybody kept saying, "Go to the hospital, go to the hospital." I didn't want to go. I was like, I'm gonna beat this. Like, it's okay. Then I got so comfortable being sick that I was like, yeah, okay, well, maybe if God wants me, I started to give up. Yeah, I started to give up. And I'm in the house. I'm not going to the hospital. I'm not saying I didn't trust the hospital, especially during that time. I didn't know what they were doing. I'm like, are they killing people in there? Are they letting people die? Like, I'm not trying to be that. So it was one night I'm laying in the bed after my husband kept saying, "You need to go to the hospital," and I didn't want to go. And so I went to sleep that night, and I don't want to say I woke up, but I was in this when I opened my eyes, I went to sleep. I'll close my eyes, open my eyes. I was in this huge mansion. And the mansion, like the walls and the walls, they were like gold, but it was transparent gold. It's really, really weird. It's hard to explain here. It was gold, but it was like transparent gold. Like I can see through it, but it was gold. It was gold. So the walls were gold. The windows were huge. Like the windows were like the size of a 2-story house. It was huge, big, beautiful curtains, colors. I can't even tell you the colors. It was colors that I never really, it's like there were some reds. I don't even know. It was like colors I'd never seen before. And so it was colors of the curtains were like wide open. And when I looked out that window, y'all, when I looked out that window, it was like hills of mansions. That's what I was looking at. Hills of mansions, the same way mine was. It looked like the mansions were gold, though. I don't know if it's glory. I don't know what it is, but it was like gold, but it was like a transparent gold, like a soft gold. It wasn't like a hard, like how we be wearing them gold chains. It wasn't like a gold like that. It was gold, but it was like a transparent gold. And I'm looking and I see hills of just mansions and mansions and beautiful grass, vibrant green grass. And the grass swayed like it was alive. It swayed like it was alive. And so I'm looking, I'm like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. And there was somebody with me. It was a male voice, but I couldn't see them. But I felt like they were here, like behind me. But I was so amazed by what I was looking at, I never turned to look at them. And so I'm walking with this person. We're having a conversation, but by the time I got up from this vision, I don't remember what we talked about, but I remember that we were having like a deep discussion. We're having a deep discussion, but I can't remember what we were talking about. It's like it was just wiped from my memory. And so we're walking past this window. I'm looking outside. I'm looking at these. It's like when I say hills, y'all, the hills I seen, man, it had to be like, it was like this, y'all, like just stacked hills, and then mansions, like rows of mansions on these hills. But it was rows of them, but they had enough space in between them. It was like acres. I'm trying to explain the best way I can. It was beautiful. And my window was I'm saying my window. I feel like that was my mansion, y'all. I feel like that was my mansion. But we're walking through the house. I'm looking at the hills. I'm looking outside. I'm looking at grass. I'm looking at flowers. And everything looked alive. Like everything looked like it had oxygen. It was breathing. It can talk. That's what it felt like. It felt like, oh, it's alive. And so I'm walking. They didn't have eyes and mouth. It just looked like they just moved, like they were intentionally moving, like they had their own movement. Like the grass and stuff that we see here, it just kind of sits still like this. But what I seen, it was like moving. It was swaying. It was just alive. And so I'm looking outside. I'm looking at this mansion. I'm going through these big, beautiful hallways, big, beautiful doors. And we get to the backyard. Now, one thing I'm obsessed with, and I really like this lady's channel. Her name is Tracy. I can't remember her whole handle. I'm going to put it on here. But I love gardens. I love nature. I love animals. I love that. And so my biggest thing was gardens. I love flowers. My mom used to take care of flowers when I was a kid. So I love flowers. I never got into gardening, but I love just looking at beautiful things that come from the earth. And so I look outside. We get to like this back door. And the voice that was with me the whole time, I feel so comfortable with whoever this was. And I was like, oh, wow. I was like, oh, a garden is so beautiful. It was a big, big backyard, huge backyard. It was so huge, like another mansion could have sat back there. It was huge. And they had beautiful flowers. And so, let me turn off the AC a little bit. And so, yeah, the colors, I can say this. The colors are super, super vibrant. They're really, really vibrant. They're like how you think about HD, and it's like, it's super, super vibrant. It's more vibrant. I mean, it's I can't explain it. It's colors that I've never seen before, though. Like when you think about red or something, it's like different versions of red. It's like a spectrum that I've never seen here on earth. But the flowers are like beautiful. And so I'm standing at this huge back door, and I'm looking at all these big, beautiful flowers, and they're moving. Like I wanted to touch them. I just wanted to touch them. And so I'm standing at the door, and I got ready to touch the handle. It was a gold handle. I got ready to touch the handle. And when I touched the handle, I felt a hand. I didn't see it because I'm still looking outside. The hand got on mine, and I said, oh, I want to see the flowers. And the voice said, it's not your time yet. I said, but it's so beautiful. I want to see the flowers. He said, it's not your time yet. You still have time. It's not your time yet to come here yet. And I looked outside, and I was so sad. And I said, but I really want to see the flowers. I don't want to leave. And it said, it's not your time. And then I was up. When I got up that morning, I looked at my husband, and I'm laying on my back, and I'm breathing heavy. As soon as I get up, I would just start breathing heavy. And I said, hospital. That's all I could say. I couldn't say a lot. I said hospital. And when my husband, he couldn't get me out. We lived in an upstairs apartment, and so I had to walk downstairs, but I couldn't. And so he was able to get me in a wheelchair. He got me in the living room, and my husband he was so good to me, y'all. He was so good to me. He was so good to you. Don't realize how important people are in your life until you go through something like that. I already knew my husband was important to me, but man, he really stuck it out. And my younger sister, y'all, she's like a jokester. She keep you laughing. My mom, her middle name is Joy, and she literally brings that. I really feel like that's her purpose, is to get, all she do is give people joy, and she know how to make you laugh, you know. And so she kept me going. The little girl in the back, she was my support system. My whole family, they took care of me. My nephew, yeah, I showed a few pictures of him, but I love my nephew. He's like my child. I love him. He kept me laughing, but I couldn't be around him because I had the CV, you know. And so anyway, my husband, he called the ambulance. And so my sister and my husband, they're standing there with me. I'm in a wheelchair waiting for the people to come. And so the ambulance came, and here we go. They're like, okay, you ready to walk downstairs? And I'm like, I know y'all see me in a wheelchair. I can't say nothing. And I just did like this. And that's when my husband and my sister was like, she can't walk. Like when she stand up, I kept falling. And when you go weeks, I went 3 weeks without walking. I was not exercising my legs. I wasn't even thinking about doing it. So I had to learn how to walk. It took me like 2 weeks to learn how to walk on my own again. But that they said, she can't walk. And so they took my wheelchair. I had 2 men behind me, 2 in front of me. They took my wheelchair and they just took me downstairs. They didn't put me on the stretcher or nothing. They put me downstairs in the wheelchair. Once I got to the wheelchair, it was just super embarrassing because not all my neighbors could see me. And I lived in a complex where I had neighbors across here and neighbors, on my side. And I was way to the back, so I had to go through a bunch of eyes. And so I'm sitting in a wheelchair, and I'm like, why didn't they put me on the little stretcher? Because I know they got the little stretcher thing that they can carry down. So I guess they didn't want to carry all it. And I was already prepared in the wheelchair. And so I get downstairs, and finally the stretcher come. And so they put the stretcher on the side of me, and then they took me out my chair, and then they put me in the stretcher and put me in the ambulance. And so at this time, y'all know, hospitals were not having visitors. So I was definitely by myself, and I was a little scared, but what motivated me to go to the hospital was that vision, that it wasn't my time. Like when I got up, I felt like you have to still fight. You can't give up. Cause I had got to the point I had gave up, and I was ready to die. So I feel so selfish saying that. Because my husband, everybody was like rooting for me, but I was just like, I was at peace with whatever. And I felt like I was closer to God at that time than I am even right now. I was just like, okay, I know it's time for me to go home. So it's, I was so sweet to everybody, but I was just like, oh yes, it's that time, And it was like that vision woke me up like, no, you need to keep fighting. Go to the hospital and take care of yourself. And so I did. And so went in the ambulance. I remember looking out the window, and my husband, he was, I didn't know he was coming, like still going to try to come to the hospital. But I looked in the window and I seen his car. And I'm like, oh, he's following me, And so the ambulance, they're going, he's behind them. He couldn't go inside with me, though. Once they brought me in there, they took me in an area that was quarantined for the CV people. And it was actually outside tent like. And so I'm sitting in there with other people that got the CV. But you know what's weird? When I got to the hospital, they literally took me out the wheelchair, out the stretcher. They put me in a waiting chair, and they just left me there. They didn't tell these people I couldn't walk. They didn't say anything. So when I sat there for a long time, I was so out of breath just from them moving me. I was so out of breath, but I was trying to control myself. And so finally somebody came. It was radiology, and they were like, we need to check your chest. We need to check everything, make sure everything is okay. And so the lady turned around and started walking, and I'm still sitting down. And she said, you ready? I said, I'm ready. I said, I can't walk. And they're like, you can't walk? And I was like, when I get up, I fall, And so the lady, she was sweet. The lady, she said, you want a wheelchair? I said, I need a wheelchair. I couldn't say, I'm saying all these words, but I couldn't say it. All I could do was do this. I couldn't talk. And so they got me a wheelchair. I got in a wheelchair. They wheeled me to where I need to go to get the x-ray. And so they laid me on the bed. They did it that way somehow, and they were able to x-ray everything. And that's how I found out I had pneumonia and the CVID, because they seen that my lungs were like collapsing and stuff like that. And so I remember they gave me the option. They're like, we could put you in the hospital. Okay, y'all. So after I had got the x-ray done, found out about that I had pneumonia and the CVID. And so I didn't even get, the only medicine I got was an inhaler to help me breathe a little bit better. It barely helped, but it, over time it helped, I guess. And then they just gave me like a bunch of vitamins. There was literally no medicine for that at all. No vaccination, no nothing. It was vitamins, and I had my inhaler to help me breathe. And so they put me back in the waiting room, and they left me there again. And they were like, okay, they let me sign like I didn't want to stay. So I signed the discharge papers. And especially once I found out they couldn't do anything for me, I'm like, what am I going to stay here for? Y'all not putting me on no ventilator. Like, no, we're not doing that. And so just give me my vitamins and my inhaler, and I'm going home. So it felt like a wasted trip, but at least I knew what I had. And so they left me in a waiting chair. I signed my discharge papers, and they just left me in there. And so finally the nurse was like, why haven't you left? And I said, I can't walk. I can't walk. I came in on a stretcher. Y'all had me in a wheelchair. I can't walk. And so the lady had left, but she never came back. Y'all, I sat in there. I was in that waiting room by myself. I tried my best to get out that room. I was in there by myself. They just left me in there. And so I ended up, I tried to like stand up, and I was leaning on everything. Trying to get up. My legs were feeling like they felt like gummy worms, but I was trying. And I made it to the door. I was able to open the door. And when I came out, I was holding on the thing, but my legs were like dragging, but I was holding on the little rails in the hallway. And finally a guy, it was a housekeeper, he seen me, and he told somebody like, hey, she need help. And so finally somebody came, they put me in a wheelchair, and I was able to roll myself out. And so when I say roll myself, I literally mean I rolled myself out. They put me in a wheelchair, and I rode outside. I remember my husband was outside, and he was like texting me. I was able to text him, and I was like, they're not helping me get out of here, and he couldn't come in there. But when I made it to like the real room where everybody else was, I was able to get out that door. And so anyway, all this besides the point, but I made it outside. I was sitting in the wheelchair, and I remember one lady came. She took the wheelchair for me. She was like, you can't, we need the wheelchair for something. I'm telling y'all, healthcare sucks. And so I was able to muster up the strength to get up, and I was leaning on this brick wall, and I just sat down on the ground, and I waited for my husband to come. My husband was upset. He was upset, but I was like, don't worry about it. So he got me off the ground. I was sitting on the ground, like sitting, like you sit on the floor. I was sitting waiting for him to come because I couldn't stand up. I had no strength. I was out of breath. I was breathing hard. And so he got me off the ground, pulled up, got me off the ground, and then he, we went home, went to get my medicine and stuff like that. But yeah, y'all, it took me about 2 weeks to learn to walk again. To breathe normally, it took a whole month after that. It took me a long time to get my breathing right. The inhaler was helping sometimes, but I don't know. It really wasn't doing, like when I would be out of breath, I would think when I took the inhaler, my breath would come back quicker, and it didn't work like that. The only thing that helped me get my breath back was laying on my back, which I was told that I shouldn't do that. I was told that I shouldn't lay on my back, but that's the only thing that would give me breath. I don't know if it's because my lungs were laying flat. I don't know, but when I would lay on my back, my breath would come. But y'all, the appreciation that you get when you're sick, man. When my husband was, I hadn't been out the house at that time in like a month or so. So it was my first time really seeing the sun, seeing other people besides my family. I was literally like, I was in awe of everything. My husband was like driving around. I'm looking outside like, oh my, I'm excited. Like, oh, look at the car. I was like a little kid. And the crazy part is I remember when my mama got sick, she had kind of got like that too. Like she became like a little kid. Like, oh, look, it's so cute. Look at the little dog. She wasn't like that before. I wasn't like that before. But when you're sick, you start to appreciate like the little things that people overlook. like the little dog running down the street, or the way the trees are moving in the wind. Like my husband was driving, and I was just out. I was looking out the window like I was at the zoo. Like I was at the zoo. I was looking. I said, "Oh my God, look! Oh, look at the cars!" I was just so excited. One thing, when you're sick, it will humble you. You think you're that girl, you think you're that guy now. When you're sick, it will humble you. You'll start to appreciate you become like a kid all over. When you're really sick, I'm not talking about sick like you got a little cold, or when you're sick, like you can't walk. So yeah, one thing, when you're really sick, it will humble you. It will humble you. I don't want to say, I almost want to say in the worst way, but I don't know, it makes you appreciate everything and everybody around you. With certain characteristics that I appreciated in my family that I didn't really pay attention to that much before. We take a lot of stuff for granted, but when you are super sick, you appreciate just, it's the simple things. You appreciate like the simplest things. You'll go through that phase where you're like mad, like, why is this happening to me? But when you really get into the thick of it, you're like, man, I appreciate everything around me. Like, stuff just started to not matter no more. And I think that's what made me start to give up. But it wasn't like give up, like it was a negative give up. Like, I ain't fighting no more. It wasn't like that. It was just like, whatever happened, happened. It was like I guess a euphoria or whatever. It was like, whatever happened, happened. I'm just grateful for the time that I had. And I had accepted the fact that maybe I'm going to pass, because I knew when I was looking online and I'm looking at all these news clips, I wasn't looking at that time, but prior to catching it, I was. And I'm like, people usually don't make it. That's what I was looking at. People don't make it once they catch this. And I got it in a worse way. Like, how did I get pneumonia? But I was working a lot too. I was always out and about. And so I was always out and about working. And I was working in bad weather, good weather. So, I mean, it does make sense that I caught the pneumonia with it. But man, I was like, I'm not going to make it out of this. So, but I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for you, God. And I'm grateful. And when I got to that point, that's when he was like, I'm going to give you this vision and let you see what's going on. Because I want you to know it's not your time. So don't get too comfortable thinking you about to go somewhere, because I still got some stuff for you to do. So yeah, y'all, that was my little story. That was my little version of a near-death experience. Now, you could look at it as a dream. You could look at it as a vision. I looked at it as, I feel like I visited that place, because I felt more at home there than I do here. I felt way more at home there, and I felt connected to everything. Even when I came back, I felt connected to everything around me. People, things, cats. I feel connected, like we're all here serving a purpose. The wall is serving a purpose. The clothes is serving a purpose. Like, I feel so connected to everything. And it kind of faded away as I got further away from that vision, that feeling of that euphoria, that, oh, I just love everything. Like, wow, look, God gave me this. I got a roof on my head. Look, the fan is keeping me cool. It's like little stuff that you pay attention to. I think people, I don't want to say this, but I used to take phentermines to lose weight. In the past, I will never take it again. It messes up your body. Well, it makes you constipated. I'll say that, to the point where you'll have to go to the hospital. My friend actually ended up having to go to the hospital because it makes your stool really, really hard. And she had to get it surgically removed. And so anyway, so I took this phentermine pill and the B12 injections. Y'all know, girls. Y'all probably know what I'm talking about. Help you lose weight pretty fast. It actually does work. I had lost 60 pounds in like 3 months. I was losing 20 pounds a month. And so when I would take this pill, I used to feel like happy. Like, I would just be happy. I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta end this video because this phone is not gonna let me make it. But the way I felt on those pills is how I felt after that whole vision, or whatever you would want to call it. I just felt like so, like I felt so content. That's how I felt. I felt super, super, super content with everything in life and every moment in life and the way that life flowed, the good and the bad, how things would be bad and then go good and then go bad again. It was like I just appreciated everything in life. It was weird, right? It was weird. But that's how I felt. That's how I know it's something about them pills. They put something in there. It was like a high. Because I remember I was telling my mama that at the time when I was taking those weight loss pills, and I was like, I just love everything. Look at the sky. Look how the clouds just form up there, and we don't even know what they're up there doing, but they have a purpose. Y'all, that's how I felt when I was on the weight loss pills, and that's exactly how I felt after the visitation. I felt that. And I wasn't taking nothing at the time except for the vitamins. And I only did the inhaler when I felt super out of breath. It wasn't something I religiously took, even though I was supposed to, but I didn't. And so yeah, I just had an appreciation for everything coming out of that. And I really feel like if it wasn't for that vision, I don't know if I would have made it. I probably wouldn't be here talking to this camera right now because I had no intentions on going to the hospital. And the hospital, even though they didn't give me like a specific medication for what I was going through, they told me at that time I wasn't taking vitamins religiously at all. I wasn't taking vitamins at all. And so the fact that they were able to tell me the exact vitamins that I needed to fight this, and they gave me like a paper that kind of told me like little tips and things that I could do to better things and stuff like that. But if it wasn't for that trip, I don't think I would have made it because I had no fight in me. I had zero fight in me. I had zero fight in me for real, and it wasn't because I was just tired. I was just accepting of everything around me. And I was like, if it's time, it's time. Like, I'm not about to fight it. Like, if it's time, it's time. And to be honest, y'all, because I've dealt with older people that have passed away, usually when somebody stops fighting, that's how you kind of know it's a sign that they're about to pass away. Because my mom was a fighter until the end. And when I seen that fight wasn't there no more and she was just kind of accepting of everything. If you look at the different stages of people that are dying, that, I guess is with the grief stage. I'll put it on the screen. But I think I had got to that acceptance. Like, okay, this is, I don't see myself really coming out of this, but I trust God anyway. That's where I was. And so I feel like if I wouldn't have had that dream, first of all, I wouldn't have went to the hospital. I probably would have just passed away. And my husband and my sister they both thought I was going to die. They both thought it. They didn't tell me until afterwards, but my sister was thinking like, what am I going to do without my sister? And my husband was like, oh my God, my wife. They thought I was going to die. I'm not going to get emotional again, but yeah, we thought it was over at that time, especially because all the stuff we seen on the news, like people didn't make it out, and I made it out. So thank God for that I'm still here. And that vision, whoever this man was, I have no idea who it was. I don't know if it was Angel, I don't know if it was Jesus, I don't know if it was somebody, a relative I knew. I don't know. I couldn't tell you because the way we talked was in here. It was like in here. And so I couldn't grab the voice to see like who it was. And I couldn't see the person. I wasn't trying to look at the person. I was too busy looking at all this amazingness around me. Because everything was amazing. The inside of the mansion was huge and beautiful. The furniture was beautiful. And then I wasn't even looking that much inside. I was so busy looking outside these huge windows that we were walking by. And we looked like little people walking. But I felt little walking along these big glasses. It was a big window. And when you looked out, you could see the whole landscape of everything, the whole city. And it was just like hills beyond hills of just rows of mansions, but not rows like they're stacked, like this a mansion, this a mansion, this is. It wasn't like that. It was like a mansion, and it was a big space, another mansion. It was huge, and it was like as far as the eye can see. That's what it felt like. I felt like I was literally looking at everything, and it was so beautiful, man. I seen water. The water looked crystal, sparkling, very, very clear. But I looked at it from the distance that I was. And so, man, it was just beautiful. And I feel like I really visited heaven. That's what I feel like. I feel that in my heart and my soul that I visited heaven at that time. And so I'm sharing it with y'all. I don't talk about that kind of stuff with people a lot. I don't talk about stuff like that, but that was my near-death experience. My mom had 3 near-death experiences. One day I'll share that with y'all, but I'm gonna go ahead and end this video before it ends itself. So y'all be blessed, and look forward for more content coming. I know they're coming kind of slow, but y'all, I'm working a lot now, and I have a lot going on that I'm trying to take care of. Okay, I'm trying to end this video properly. I have a lot of stuff I'm trying to organize in my life so that I can really prioritize making content. I'm still going to be putting out videos every week. It's just not going to be, it hasn't been as consistent as I was doing before. I was putting out like maybe 4 to 5 videos a week. And right now, the way my life is setting up right now, I can't really get it in as much as I want to, but I am going to be uploading weekly. And I'm really looking forward to my reaction videos. So yeah, y'all, I ain't went nowhere. I'm still here. Still gonna put up some more shorts and all that great stuff. So y'all be blessed, and I will talk to y'all another time. Be blessed. Another thing is, if y'all have any near-death experiences or just dreams or visions or any type of testimony, it can be a money testimony, whatever. If y'all would tag me in it, I would love to react to it or at least watch it along with my viewers. I just love hearing the miracles of God and just supernatural stuff. I told you I was a horror movie junkie. Literally could watch it every day. And this the only way I can wean myself off of wanting to do that as much is because I like supernatural, so why not look at the real life situations that are really going on instead of the animated ones that these producers and people are making up. So I love y'all. If y'all see anything, if y'all have any experiences, please let me know, because I would love to react to it. It's gonna be a fun time. So y'all be blessed. Let me get my day together because I got things I got to do today. So y'all be blessed.